Welcome back, viewers, to the latest researches and news. While Ethiopia's federal government is dealing with active fighting in Tigray, Amhara, and now increasingly in Oromo, new evidence suggests it's also deepening its involvement in an entirely separate war, Sudan's civil war, reportedly on the side of the Rapid Support Forces. Viewers, according to the latest reports, a drone that took off from Ethiopian territory was shot down along the Sudanese border. Specifically, a drone that had launched from Bahir was shot down by the Sudanese army. Bahir is the capital of Amhara region, sitting on the shores of Lake Tana in the northwest of the country. It's a major Ethiopian city, not a small border outpost, so a drone launching from Bahir and traveling all the way to Sudanese territory represents a significant operational reach, not a short-range local flight. A Sudanese army spokesman stated that this strategic drone had targeted the town of Kurmuk in Sudan's Blue Nile state. Kurmuk is a town sitting directly on the border between the two countries in the direction of Benishangul-Gumuz region on the Ethiopian side. Blue Nile State, where Kurmuk is located, has been one of the active zones in Sudan's own civil war. A drone strike here, reportedly launched from inside Ethiopia, places Ethiopia directly inside the geography of Sudan's internal conflict, rather than simply monitoring the border from a distance. Sudan has warned of military retaliation in response to attacks originating from the Ethiopian government. A direct warning of retaliation from a neighboring country's military is a serious escalation. This moves the situation from suspected or alleged involvement toward a public, state-to-state confrontation. Sudan is now explicitly holding Ethiopia's government responsible on the record for strikes on its own territory. Among the clearest indicators of Ethiopia's growing involvement in Sudan's war is the recent renewal of runway markings at Assosa Airport, which confirms the airport is now receiving more flights than before. Assosa is the capital of Benishangul-Gumuz region in western Ethiopia, close to the Sudanese border. Freshly repainted runway markings are a very concrete, physical sign of increased operational activity. This isn't a rumor or a claim. It's an infrastructure investment that only makes sense if significantly more air traffic is expected or already occurring at this specific airport. Viewers, cargo aircraft of the IL-76TD type, belonging to the United Arab Emirates, have reportedly carried out multiple flights to Assosa Airport in recent weeks. The IL-76 is a large military-capable cargo aircraft, commonly used for transporting heavy equipment, vehicles, and substantial supplies over long distances. Multiple flights of this specific aircraft type operated by the way, arriving at an airport that sits close to the Sudanese border and has just had its runway upgraded, strongly suggests a supply route connected to the Sudan conflict. This lines up directly with what we've already told you, Fano leader Zemenikase's accusations regarding way involvement in the region, and broader reports of the way's alleged support for the Rapid Support Forces, which we discussed in our regional analysis of outside players in this wider conflict. Apart from all of this, according to the latest updates, the Oromo Liberation Front set up an ambush targeting a military convoy affiliated with the Ethiopian government on the Ethiopian-Kenyan border, resulting in the surrender of everyone inside the convoy. We've received a video showing Oromo Liberation Front fighters alongside captured military vehicles, which you can see on your screen. This adds yet another front to the map. The Ethiopian-Kenyan border lies in southern Oromo region, a considerable distance from the northern fighting we've been covering around Tigray and Amhara, and even further from the East Wulega engagement we told you about earlier, involving the Oromo Liberation Army. A full convoy surrendering, rather than being defeated in a prolonged battle, suggests either a very effective ambush, low morale among the convoy's personnel, or both a pattern we've now seen repeated across multiple different fronts and different armed groups throughout this conflict. Let's step back and look at the complete picture of where Ethiopia's federal government is currently engaged all at once. In the north, active fighting continues around Raya Kobo, North Wulo, and the Tekeze River corridor in western Tigray, along with drone strikes reaching as far as Mekelle itself. In Amhara region, fighting continues across East Gojam, near Debre Marcos and Mount Chok, as well as in Tenta district in South Wulo. In Oromia, the Oromo Liberation Army has been active in East Wulega, and now the Oromo Liberation Front has struck near the Kenyan border in the south. And now, on top of all of that, Ethiopia appears to be actively involved in Sudan's civil war, launching strikes from Bahida and Asosa, and reportedly receiving military cargo support from the way at Asosa airport, all while facing direct retaliation threats from the Sudanese military. This is really the heart of today's story. A government already dealing with active conflict on at least three major internal fronts, Tigray, Amhara, and Oromia, is simultaneously deepening its involvement in a fourth conflict entirely outside its own borders. From a pure military resource standpoint, this kind of overextension is exactly the scenario we discussed in our earlier coverage of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces Emergency Command meeting, where commanders were already struggling to concentrate combat power across just the internal fronts. Adding an active role in Sudan's war, with a neighboring state now openly threatening retaliation, stretches that same limited capacity even further. So here's the full picture. While Ethiopia's federal government continues fighting on multiple internal fronts across Tigray, Amhara, and Oromia, new evidence a downed drone, a strike on Kumuk, renewed runway infrastructure at Asosa, and way cargo flights points to growing direct involvement in Sudan's civil war as well, with Sudan now openly warning of military retaliation. Combined with the Oromo Liberation Front's ambush near the Kenyan border, this shows a government facing pressure on more fronts in more places than at almost any other point in this conflict so far. We'll continue mapping every one of these fronts for you as the situation develops. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next update.